Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly, and we're back with another Southwest Virginia Fishing Report with Matt Reilly. How you doing, Matt?
Doing great, Marvin. How are you?
As always, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble, and was talking with our friend Ethan a little bit earlier this evening, and it's kind of funny, right? We had this kind of fake spring, and that's going to go away, but we're going to have pretty seasonable, if not slightly warmer than seasonable temperatures and a decent amount of rain, right?
Actually, we're probably a little bit warmer and drier than they're looking. I was just looking at our kind of extended forecast, and we're going to be certainly the rest of this week and into next week. We're going to be in the 50s and touching 60 here and there with a little bit of rain, but nothing real drastic. Of course, lows are still chilly, in the 20s and 30s, but not real cold. I was kind of thinking after the January we had, that February is going to be a pretty brutal one, but it's looking like it's staying pretty mild.
Yeah, so I'd imagine, right, we've talked about this before, not enough to really change where the muskie are, but maybe make them a little bit more chasey.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we have not seen those basement water temperatures like low 30s, mid 30s. I don't think I've seen anything less than 38 all year. And yeah, those, they're definitely in predictable kind of winter areas. Yeah, I'll take those warm, 40 to 43, 44 degree water temps, because they certainly make for pretty happy fish.
Yeah, and has it tempted you to try to pry a couple smallies out of their wintering holes?
No, not really, to be honest. I've been tying like crazy, trying to make sure I'm prepared for kicking off the smallmouth program here in, really about a month. But we still have a lot of great muskie fishing, great trout fishing. That's kind of what I try to focus on this time of year, just because it's really good. And I get to smallmouth fish for like 9 months here coming up pretty soon. So it's an easy decision for me to make.
Yeah, well, and remember, I've got 2-gallon bags of corks if you need them for your poppers.
Yeah, I know you do. I'll let you know. I still got plenty from the last time you sent them. So
yeah, and they're the good ones too. They're not the real cork ones. They're the ground up composite cork ones.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. And so, it's funny. I've got a question for you from Brenner, and he wanted to get your thoughts on, how trout respond to these sudden warm ups in the winter. Does it put them in a funk? Does it make them crazy? Kind of how do they react?
That's a good question. Certainly. Well, I'll start talking about the tailwater streamer deal. That I don't really tend to notice a ton there, just because water temperatures are pretty consistent. Real heavy cold weather for several days, like we had back around Christmas. That'll certainly drop some water temperatures in those tailwaters, but day-to-day swings, not so much. I really don't notice a ton there. On the mountain streams, it's always nice just to have fairly consistent warm weather, because it just keeps the water temperatures up a little bit, keeps the fish from just really hunkering and being slow and lethargic. So they tend to be a little bit more, actively feeding more often. So you'll find them in the riffles and a little bit higher in the water column and moving around a little bit more. So I would say on average, it's definitely a good thing. If you're fishing way up in the mountains, places that have pretty, steep, gorge walls and stuff, that warmer weather pretty consistently is nice, because see sunlight in the wintertime, but for, a few hours of the day. So having just a warmer ambient air temperature, I think definitely makes a difference. If you're having pretty normal winter weather where it's staying in the 30s and 40s, that's when, you're starting to think about, fishing rivers that are kind of, east-west oriented. So they're seeing sun for longer over the course of the day and fishing later in the day, after the sun's gotten up and warmed things up a little bit. But yeah, when it's been pretty consistently warm, like it has been, it just kind of evens the playing field a little bit. It's, you don't have to worry about, water temperature arcs and stuff like that quite as much.
Yeah. And you don't have to think about what side of the mountain you're fishing on either.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And so, folks, we love questions on the articulate fly. You can email them to us. You can DM us on social media, whatever's easiest for you. And if we use your questions, I will send you some articulate fly swag, and we'll enter you in a drawing for something cool for Matt at the end of the season. And, I know that there are not very many lily pads left on your guide calendar, but you want to let folks know kind of where they can find you, what you have open, and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. The website's MattReillyFlyFishing.com. All my contact information's on there, so feel free to reach out however you'd like. Yeah, I'll probably send a push out for summer smallmouth, some kind of late spring, and then some summer smallmouth stuff here pretty soon. But I have like one date left for kind of the prime, top water stuff in the summer. The rest of what we're looking at is like May, and some July and some late September. And then, kind of early October, there's a little bit too. So yeah, it's like I always say, it's thinner than I would certainly expect to be at this point in the year, in terms of available dates. So if you want to get out, don't wait until, the last minute. Definitely get in touch with me now. And then, if you want as well, if you go on the website, you can subscribe to the kind of revamped newsletter system that I'm trying to keep up with, and that will keep you abreast of last minute cancellations and stuff like that. If I get kind of suddenly available dates, those are going to be the first folks to know about it.
Yeah, and even though you tell me it's not as hot in Abington as it is in Central Virginia, I still like those late September and October dates, folks. So great time to get out there and fish where, the fish are in the shade and you're not. So
yeah,
definitely some great time to be out there and not sweat to death. Well, listen, folks, you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Matt.
Thanks, Marvin.